Alright, well today let's talk about a couple things in GarageBand that's going to make your song better. If you are making a song, like I talked before, do not bore me with your music. If something is boring, nobody's going to want to listen to it, no one wants to see it. So today what I want to show you is some various ways that you can take a loop that's pre-manufactured and make it different from that there. So first off, again, I'm going to hit down on the eyeball, and that's going to open up our loops. And I'm going to pick a drum beat. And let me show you different. There's two types of things in GarageBand. There's the blue ones that are here, and the ones that are green. Okay, so let me talk about the difference of this one here. This here is a sample here. This is actually a sample here. This is an audio recording of it. All right. So this here, the green one, that's Midi. Okay, and notice here that you got the blue and the green going on. All right. With audio, if I double click on it, or if I hit the scissors is the same thing. If I hit the scissors, basically I can do some things with this in here. This little scroll bar right here makes it bigger and smaller, so I can actually get down to really small little nuances in here. So let's say I got my beat going on here. Let's listen to it. Okay. So let me just change this up a little bit. With the audio, I can't do as much as I can with the MIDI. But let's say I want to. I'm going to highlight a little section there, and then we'll double click at the bottom. You'll see how that section is there. And I'll do the same thing here. Alright, so let's say I'm going to take out this middle part right here. Now let's listen to it. So that's how you add a little break section in there, a little stop time section in the accompaniment. And if you have like some shakers going on or some type of other rhythm going on, that can add a lot to it as well. So let's say I want to do that again. I'll come over here, and this is what you have to do is you click on the bottom there, and you highlight what you want, and then you click on it, and then the separation happens. So let me do that one more time. Let's say I want to take out this whole section right here, and actually I can make it where it's bigger, so I can just get it right there. After a while, you start seeing these waveforms, and you say, okay, I know that this is the beginning of something right here. Now I'll move it around. I can even get a little closer if I want to. So let's say I highlight that section there. I want that much gone. Click on it once, and now I have that section that's gone. It's going to be gone there. I'll take that out, and let me just for grins, I'll put in some shakers just to show you the reset here. And put some shakers in. And hold on Option, make a copy of it. And let's see what it sounds like. I mean, it's definitely different. There's some contrast going on there. So that's how you can take a loop and take out beats of it. Drop some beats in there. Any questions about how to do that with audio? How to drop beats? And you can do the same thing with a bass line. It doesn't have to be just a percussion line. Let's say I want to drop a beat from, let me get the waveform. I'll double click on it, and you see the lot there. Let me zoom that in. And you can sort of see the individual notes there. Can you let me let that go by. You see that there? How these long things here are basically notes. So let's say that, okay, the first time I want it all exactly the same. Let me make a copy of it. And this time here, I'm going to go out and drop out this note right here. Say I don't want that note right there. I can highlight it, bam, gone like it never happened. So I can take out notes if I want to as well. And after a while, you start looking at those waveforms, and you really can tell what's going on with them. All right, we talked about MIDI before. What is MIDI? Anybody? The musical instrument digital interface. But what is a MIDI? What does MIDI mean? What does a MIDI record? Digital instruments. What is MIDI recording? Performance data. And what does performance data mean? Like we look here at a waveform here, that's the actual acoustic wave. Yes, you can change it around. So what it basically it's recording is the notes, the pitches, the velocities, all these things. And because it's MIDI, I can come and change it. So let's say the first time I want that beat to be regular. All right, great. Now I'm going to double click here and come here to this section here where I measure 13. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's say this. Let's listen to this beat here. Okay. That's all right. Let me show you a couple of tricks. Some possibilities you can do with MIDI, because again, MIDI is performance data. It's not audio. Here, hear that? That's the hi-hat part, right? Now, if I click that button there, I can find other sounds. Let's say I want to change that to a ride cymbal. Okay. So what I can do is I can go through there and highlight all that jazz by that. Alright, so I got all those highlighted there. Now I can move them to that part there. Now let's hear the difference. Hear the difference? And so what I can do also is, I can undo that. If you don't like it, you can go back and move that. Let's say I only want to do that like on this measure here. And that's going to give a little bit of a difference. So let's see. So listen to that. See how that sounds. Again, that's contrast, right? It's not the same. Even though the rhythm is the same, is that you change the timbre, you change the tone color. That's going to add some excitement to it. Another thing that you can do is this. All right, let's say that, okay, you got that beat there. Let's say that we want to take out something. Let's say we don't want that there. Let's say we just don't want that period. Gone, highlight it. Bam. Hit delete like it never happened. Now here's the uncut version. Probably didn't notice it too much because it really wasn't that big of a deal. But can you see some possibilities that you can go here with the MIDI one and tweak it? You can move things around with it, and then so you can have it changed up a little bit. It's going to be the same beat, but it's going to be just a little bit different in there. All right? Also, what you can do, and you got to be kind of careful with this, is that you can move around beats. Let's say I'm going to move that one there. I'll move it to 3 instead of being on the 1. Here. Can you hear the difference? Is that something that's small? You might just do that one time. When I talk about compare and contrast, when I talk about adding interest to your music, a lot of times I use the analogy of a taco. So you got a taco. Everybody likes a taco, right? You like tacos? Okay. So you got a taco. Now your question is this: how much condiments do you put on the taco? You put a tub of sour cream. Now you're eating sour cream with a taco under it. You can't taste the taco no more. Do I put a little bit of cheese? Do I put a little bit of pecani sauce or hot sauce on it? Just enough to flavor it? If you put too much of that stuff on there, you can't taste the taco. If I change this up too much, the beat's going to be totally gone. But if you just change it up a little bit, and it adds flavor to it and enhances it. Do any of y'all cook? Well, I microwave, but if I did cook, I know that I'm not going to put a whole bottle of pepper into it. Just a dash, just a little bit of something to give it some flavor. You want to eat, you know, if you're making some ground beef, you don't want to taste pepper. You want to taste the ground beef with a little bit of pepper, not pepper ground beef. Does that make sense? So same thing when y'all are tweaking beats here on GarageBand is the same thing. Is that make sure you go on there and keep it simple. Here's another trick that you can use GarageBand for. Let me go back to some drums here. And on the loops, you can actually see something that's called a fill. Let me just find a fill. They got a break beats also, and this is not going to fit, but I gotta have some fills in there. All right, here's the fill. That one's too boring. All right. We'll just do something like that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I got this beat going on here. I'm going to make a copy of it. So I got this one. Pretend this is like a new song right here. All right. So let's say the second time I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to make this smaller. And I'm going to take out this fill. And now let's listen to it. So here's the first part of it. Then you go back into the section again. So that's what fills are. In phrases a lot of times. So you add that in there, and in GarageBand you can find some fills for some of them. Not everything's going to have a fill, but you could also record your own fill yourself if you wanted to. Any questions about that? How to go through there and tweak your samples, your loops? It's too easy just to do this, to go in there and find, all right, I like this beat right here. And then you just do this. This is not going to cut it. Do that for the whole song. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's just a single beat. Even if it's the most slamming beat in the world, you're going to get bored of it really quick. This is probably a better part. Okay, let's do 16 measures of it. 16 beats, and then let me start copying it. Then I can use the techniques I just showed you guys earlier. I move something around, add a fill to it, do something that's different between these, and then you come back to your sections as well. This is the A section, this is the B section, and so forth. So like on that one there, even though I'm hearing it too much, I know, oh, let me just move that to something different. Does that contrast? And that one little simple move can make a big difference in your pieces and your music to make it interesting. All right, any questions about that? 2 minutes can be a really long time or a really short time. A good song, that 2 minutes seems like it's gone like that. A bad song, it seems like you're getting your tooth pulled. It seems like a nightmare. So it can be a great 2 minutes and 14 seconds, or it can be a long 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And some of the techniques that I've talked about in here basically help you along with that as well. Here's a couple. Let me show you this because I get this question a lot. Let's say you want to get rid of a track. You click on it, go into track, and say delete track. And so it won't let you do that for. And you can also use that little shortcut there, the Apple and delete button. So if I want to go through and get rid of the track, that's how you can do that. So let's say that, all right, let's say I want to make a song. Let me say I want to make a pop song. All right? So here is what they call pre-compositional thought. Before I even do anything in GarageBand, what I need to do is figure out, what do I want to do? All right, I want to do a pop song. All right. So what's the parts of a pop song do I need to have? Yeah, form-wise.
I need an intro.
Okay, intro maybe? A chorus, yeah, definitely a chorus. Verse. Bridge maybe. So minimum I need a chorus and verse. Minimum probably. Because those songs are really put out to date. Are straight verses, are only all chorus parts. So and the reason why you have that, compare and contrast. So now I got that going on. So let's say, all right, now let me lay down my beats, figure out what I want. I'm gonna hit drums. And today I feel like a techno beat. So let me find some techno music. All right. I know that beat's a little bit whack, but we'll just take it for right now. All right. So now, if I got 16 beats, all right. So let's just call it our A section for right now. That definitely sounds different to me. All right. So what I'm going to do is this. Let's say that I got a verse for these two, for this here, and let's say I do that twice. So I'm just going to option that one there. Now I'm going to my chorus part. And usually the verse and the chorus part are symmetrical in length. They usually, if it's 8 measures, the chorus part is usually 8 measures also. Not always, but usually you have it symmetrical, because if one's way longer than the other, it's hard to tell that we went to another form, another section of the song. It's usually symmetrical. Not always the case, but usually. All right, so right now I got the A section here and the B section. Let's start building a few things. Let me add a bass. I think that'd be good for our B section there. So I'll put that there. That seems really busy. So I'll tell you what, 2 measures for nothing, then I have the bass line come in. And let's just do this, because this is one thing I showed you. All right, let's say the second time I just take out a couple of beats every once in a while. Let's say I take that one out, and I'll take that one out. I probably would normally go through and think this a little bit more through, but right now, this for speed wise, we'll just try that out there. All right. All right. So now I got a bass line. All right, and you were talking about earlier maybe some type of introduction going on. I think that might be a good little introduction. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. Well, first I'm gonna put that down here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make it smaller. See how I do that? Make the screen smaller. I'm gonna highlight all this jazz here, and now I got me an introduction. See how that works? So I just moved that, made it small so I can highlight the whole thing, and then I can make it regular size again if I want to see. And how about this? Why don't we let's have some fun with that synth part there. All right, let me show you this. This is another thing that makes it really interesting. This is what's called dovetailing. Okay. What I do is, let's say I don't want to start really heavy with the song here. I'm going to hit this little triangle, which basically makes the track volume comes up, and I'm going to fade into this part, and then I'm going to fade out when this next part comes in. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fade in here and fade out, going into, and this one here, I'm going to make that a long, steady one, and then this is going to fade out. So let's see how that sounds. See how this turns out. how that dovetailed into the next section there? That's what you call dovetailing. And you do that with volume. You see DJs do that all the time, right? When they're going from one track to another track, they dovetail. You don't even know one beat from one song from another, and they dovetail into it. And inside the song itself, that dovetailing can make your song sound so much more professional and a lot more smoother. Okay? So I think that actually worked out pretty well there. That actually sounded a lot better than I thought that actually turned out pretty well. You know, just for fun, because I'm sort of hearing this in my head here. Let me, here's another thing that folks asked me to do, is how do you make a copy? So I'm going to make a track, duplicate track. So that's going to be the same sound. And I'm holding on, click there, hold on Option and bring it down here. And I'm going to do this little trick here because I'm just hearing this in my head. I'm going to double click on this part here. And all I want is that part there, the right part. So I'm going to highlight all this jazz here, take all that, well, let's see, what's this part? Alright, I'll keep that part there, okay. So let me just get rid of all this jazz here. And for like 2 measures, I'm going to have that ride hat come in. So let's see. Let me make that. Let's see how this sounds here. All right, so. There must be some parts I didn't get on that one. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, I don't want that. Because all I want is the right part. Must be some parts I'm not seeing on here. Okay, there it is. Yeah. All right. See how that works? So that happens a lot. You guys heard that a lot, right? The hi-hat comes in, chink, 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 and then the beat comes in all together. And if I want to, I can do this as well. I can do a dovetail for the drum beat as well. I don't think that would actually work as good. I actually like when it comes right on the downbeat there. Okay. Any questions about that? About how to go through and I think if you dovetail as well as take out beats or change things around with a Midi drum beat, that you can really get a lot of compare and contrast going on. And for you guys, it's a 2-minute beat. Again, you guys have no excuse to make something that's interesting. It's only the amount of time you put into it to be able to do it. Let me tell you this also. Once you make a track, once you start digging around with the volume, you can't change the volume here anymore. See, normally at this track I didn't do anything to. I can change the volume here. But once I add the leveling, I can't do that anymore. So if you want that feature back again, let's just outthink this. Say, all right, well, if I duplicate this track, it's going to remember all that jazz there. So what I actually have to do is find that there and then drag that down. So let's say, basically, let me just say, new track, and say real instrument, because that's audio, that's blue. I got one last trick I'm going to show you in a second. And now, I can control the volume on this if I wanted to. Not too bad. I think that sounds pretty cool there. I don't know if you guys are into techno music too much anymore. Here's another trick. I was going to say this, but I'm going to share it today. Bonus tip. On this track here, if I double click on any of these here, what comes up, because this is again, this only works on audio, is that I can take any of these sound effects and tweak it. So I'll hit the little thing that it's only listening to this one. Let's see what. You see the possibilities? That with one sample, I can have 100 different ways with these different effects. And also, I can copy and paste them, so I can have 2 or 3 effects going on at the same time. All this does what? Helps you do what? Let's see. Compare and contrast. All this helps you compare and contrast when you make a piece of music. And all these tools are tools that they use in the pop world in a lot of ways. It's a little bit different. Any questions about this?
Yeah, how did you bring up the dovetail?
Yeah. See this little triangle right here? And you just click on it and it comes down. And once you're done with it, you click on the triangle again and it goes back up. You can also do the same thing on there with panning. So the panning is from left to right. Be careful with panning because you get dizzy really quick. And when you go, you're just jumping back and forth. A little bit of panning is all you need. But like actually on this one here, I might actually would do some panning on this track here because it's the intro part. And what I do is I would do what I call a from left to right. And you really can't, you won't be able to hear it too much in here because of the. Let's go from one side. That's going to be center pan in a second. That's going to switch to the other side. Now this is what people do a lot of times with their panning. They do this. Well, you're going to hear it go back and forth. Hear that? And there might be a time when you want to do it that fast. But please don't do that for everything, because it's going to get old real quick. Again, think about the taco and the condiments. How much salsa do you want in your taco? Probably just a little, like a teaspoon, right? I don't know how much how much sour cream do y'all put on your tacos? How much? No sour cream? Okay, so none. How about onions? See, I like onions, so I'll put some onions in my taco. Anybody do that? Anyone else? Okay. You do that? Okay. So I'm not doing it. So, like hot sauce, how much do you put in the whole pack?
About 4 or 5 of them.
4 or 5 of them? Well, you're just eating hot sauce at that point. Hot sauce taco. Try this. Just like add a half a pack. There's a little flavor in it. Then you taste the taco. But you may not want to taste the taco, depending on where you're buying that. All right. Any questions about how to add some flavor, how to add some compare and contrast to your beats?